Hello, and welcome to Blossom and Berries Nurture University. My name's Carly Sherborne, and I am kicking off the first in this series for Blossom and Berry, and I'm really excited to be here. So my name's Carly Sherborne, and I am a paediatric occupational therapist. I'm also a baby massage and baby yoga instructor, and I also work in specifically with newborns, doing newborn nurture. And I would like to talk to you today about tummy time and to bust some myths and give you some tips. But first of all, I thought I'd give you a little background about myself. So as I say, I'm an OT, baby massage instructor and baby yoga instructor. I qualified in occupational therapy 11 years ago, and I specialised in paediatrics. Now, not many people know exactly what an occupational therapist does, and even if you asked an OT themselves, sometimes we even struggle to explain what we do because we work in such a variety of different settings. We work from what we say or class as the cradle to the grave, so we literally work for all different types of clinics, hospitals, services, and we work with children right up to adults, into palliative care. So we're a variety of us out there doing all sorts of things. Our main priority as an occupational therapist is looking at activity. So occupation is basically a fancy word for activity. So for me as a paediatric occupational therapist, I look at the activities that we expect a baby or a preschooler or a child to be engaging in. So for most children, that's play and learning and developing. So we look at breaking down activities and looking at meaningful tasks for children in order to enhance their abilities to learn and play and grow. And we also look at adapting the environment. So for some children and babies who perhaps may be having difficulties due to an underlying condition, a disability, we will look at how we can actually adapt the environment to support them so that they are able to be as independent as possible. As occupational therapists, we also look at the physical person, but we also look at them from a biopsychosocial perspective. So we look at their biology, their physiology, but we also look at how engaging in their day-to-day activities actually supports their social development and their emotional development. So we look at the holistic being. So it's why I wanted to look at baby massage and baby yoga as well as part of my career, because for me, getting out there and doing the health promotion side is really, really exciting. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, and I have worked in the NHS for many years. I did a lot of work working in children's centres. I did a lot of health promotion classes, specifically looking at tummy time and movement. So these are key things as a paediatric occupational therapist that we're looking at, but actually as part of my baby massage and baby yoga instructor hat on as well, we actually are really, really, really positive about how our work can actually help support physical and emotional and social development as well, so they really complement each other. The reason that tummy time is so important is often quite missed. It's sort of given out there, do tummy time with your baby, plonk them on the floor, make sure that they're, having that time off of their backs. But do parents really actually understand why? No, a lot of the time they don't. So I just want to clear up a few of the myths of tummy time and how you can best integrate this into your baby's life and to support them in all areas. I have got some notes here that you'll see me glancing at. That's just to make sure I don't forget anything. I've got a few little bullet points here. So yeah, what is tummy time? So tummy time is what it says on the tin to a degree. Tummy time is about giving babies an opportunity for play on their tummy. Now, when the Back to Sleep campaign came out, which was specifically a campaign that's looking at reducing the risk of SIDS, or sudden infant death syndrome, which is a really, really important initiative and really has helped to reduce the risks of SIDS. But because babies used to be put down on their tummies a lot, they used to be put on their tummies to sleep before all this information came out. And I think what's happened over time is parents have become less empowered to put their babies on their fronts, and actually babies then hate it. Most mums and dads will say to me, yeah, don't like tummy time, baby doesn't like tummy time, tried tummy time, it doesn't work. And actually, if we really look at tummy time, if I was a little helpless baby that was placed on my tummy and I couldn't lift my head and my face was down in the ground and I didn't know where my mummy was, where my dad was, I couldn't locate anything that was my ability to, like, my compass of working out exactly where I am, I would be frightened and I wouldn't like it. So actually, if we look at it, how we would feel if we had minimal head control and minimal movement and unable to control our movements, then would you really want to be plonked face down on the ground in tummy time? No. So that's why I want to really talk to you about how actually tummy time from birth is really important to look at different positions, and how actually we need to change our perspective of tummy time. So tummy time isn't just an activity in itself, so you just literally put your baby in tummy time. Tummy time is a position for play. So tummy time is really, really important because it works on the muscles. So when your baby's laying down on their tummy, it works on the muscles in the back of the neck and in the back, your prone extensor muscles. When your baby is in the womb, they're all tucked up nicely in the fetal position. They're in they're in a tucked up flex position. So when they're born, it is completely new for them to actually feel themselves against gravity, so to work against gravity. So for a baby, when they're first born, they want to be in this tucked up position, which is lovely and soothing and calming and completely recommended that they have that experience. But actually we need to try and encourage them to experience movement against gravity, to get all those neck muscles moving, all those back muscles moving, and to start strengthening those muscles, and for them to start learning about their bodies in relation to space and not just in this tucked up position. The reason those muscles are so important is because those are the first muscles that help us to lift our head. They're what help us to come up off the ground, to push up into our arms, to roll, to sit, to come up onto all fours, to then crawl, to then stand, to then walk. So all those milestones, as parents, we're all so keen to see our baby doing. Actually, tummy time is the key activity or the key position for play that you should be doing to work on all of those skills. And something I always love to tell parents is actually what you do now with your babies actually has a knock-on effect throughout their preschool life and into their school age. It is literally the foundation of all their skills. Your tummy muscles are your core, and they literally, working on those will impact even in the school environment. Your child's ability to sit at a desk and hold their pencil and write will be supported by what you do at an early stage. So I'm not trying to do this to frighten you, say this to frighten you and think, oh, you should be doing this and this, but it's just so good to have an awareness of that part of why tummy time is so important. Just checking my notes here. Also tummy time looks at not just physically, but it actually helps with vestibular input. So there's a system in our bodies, or a sense in our bodies, called the vestibular system. It is our inner balance, our spirit level in our body. We've got a little mechanism in our ears that, if you imagined a spirit level, it tells our body about where our head is in relation to space. It helps us keep our balance, helps us to adjust our movements, and by being placed on the tummy, babies actually getting that first sense of vestibular, so they're getting that head action that's coming up against gravity, so you're getting that balance system working. It gives your baby a different view of the world. And it also helps to support visual perceptual development, so your baby's ability to start using their eyes to focus, their depth perception, understanding that some things are further than others, which again actually relates later on to learning letters. I won't go into the details of how and why, but trust me, it does. So wow, just from tummy time, you're working all of these. So that's all physically, but also you're getting a lovely time for mummy, daddy, caregiver to have some real lovely eye contact, speaking to each other, encouraging them to come up to you, look at you in that position. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit further along when I actually talk about some of the tips for tummy time. Also, as well as all of those things, you're working on shoulder stability. So by pressing up into the arms, so if you imagine when a baby's first laying down, eventually over time they start pressing up on propped arms, and they love it when they can do that because they're so much more independent and they're able to look left and right, and they're really getting some really good shoulder stability building up there, which is vital for later on the development of fine motor skills. So we work from what's called a proximal to distal basis, so that means from your core to your extremities. So you need a strong core. You can't be all floppy in the middle and then expect your hands to work. So you imagine like a building, you need to have a strong foundation in order for everything else outside of it to work. When you are working on your shoulder stability, you're also able to have better fine motor skills, so handwriting, doing buttons, doing shoelaces up, all these little independent skills that actually you need later in life are being worked on. The other thing as well is by promoting tummy time and giving your baby tummy time, you're actually giving them vital time off of the back of their head. So where babies spend a lot of time on their backs, a lot of time in car seats, a lot of time in what I call baby containers, there is a lot of the time that they're having spent with pressure on the back of their heads. So the skull of a baby is still very moldable. There's actually more bones in the skull, and there's a soft spot, and that's so that the baby can be born more easily. So actually their heads are quite prone to having, if pressure is placed on a certain point, to getting flat. So actually you hear of flat head syndrome or plagiocephaly, and you see that more and more now because babies are on their backs more. So you're actually helping to give that pressure off the back of their head, so you'll get that nice shaped skull, and you're preventing in very severe cases, and again this isn't to frighten parents, but in very severe cases, because the flattening of the head occurs, it can cause bulges at the front of the head because the brain has still got to grow, so it can cause misshaped faces and things as well. So actually from a anatomy side of things as well, it's really, really important. Again, more benefits. I'm just going to check some messages here. I can see things here. Mums that I know often comment that the babies don't like tummy time yet, but it's so important. This is brilliant information. Thank you from Josette. Didn't know that about all the different types of development at age. Yeah, clever babies. Yeah, they're so clever. They know what they need. It makes sense. Yeah, it does. And this is the thing. Like there isn't enough information out there about the benefits of tummy time. Gemma said, "How long should babies have a day?" I'd say build up. 30 seconds in the beginning is amazing. If you can get 30 seconds on the tummy, amazing. Build it up. Ideally, 60 minutes a day. I know that sounds a lot, but that would never be in one stint. That would always be little and often, bite-sized amounts. And I'll talk more about things you can actually do for tummy time in a second. Some of the positions you can try that aren't just plonking baby on the floor. I just want to talk a little bit about actually spinal development as well now. So when a baby's born, their spine is a C shape, and it's only through movement and exploration of their bodies that they start to get the S-shaped spine. Like, we don't have dead straight backs, we have S-shaped spines, and the reason for that is that gives our bodies flexibility. It allows us to move in different directions. It actually acts as a natural shock absorber, so when we're walking, running, weight bearing, our spines are in that S shape to give a natural shock absorber. It's also to help maintain our balance. By having that extra movement, we can write our reactions really easily, and actually there is a window for baby spines to get their natural curves, and this again is why it's so important to have tummy time, because you are encouraging that S shape to emerge in the baby's spine, and you're doing it in a developmentally appropriate way, and I will cover it a little bit more later, but that is why using baby containers a lot. And when I say baby containers, I'm talking obviously car seats. We need to use car seats, they're a safety thing, but minimizing it where we can. Bumbos, jumperoos, walkers, door bouncers. I'm never popular when I say this, I'm sorry. I know they're amazing for parents to get 5 minutes peace, but you have to be aware of the fact that they're not actually putting babies into positions that are best for their spines. They might like them, but they're not developmentally appropriate. So yeah, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but they're not great. But you can always message me if you would like other ideas for what you can use instead. I've got 2 kids, so I completely understand why parents would use them. I didn't myself, but I completely get it. So yeah, they're all the things. There's so many things. I could go on for ages, but people have got questions and probably thinking, right, enough of the benefits. Tell me what I can do, what I can do, what I can do. So first and foremost, when your baby is born, skin to skin on your chest. I'm gonna get my little baby out here. This is my baby massage doll. This is Ava. Skin to skin on your chest. We do it automatically. This is tummy time. Your baby is having time off of the back of their head. If you're reclined as well, they're getting that opportunity to work against gravity. Babies thrive from skin to skin. Not only does it calm their central nervous system, but it actually helps to build up their immunity, their brain development. There is so much by having that loving, caring, nurturing time on their tummy on your chest, skin to skin, actually just gives so much benefit socially and emotionally as well as physically. So this literally from birth is fantastic. Another really good one is something called Tiger in the Tree, which all my fellow paediatric OTs, but also my baby yoga and baby massage instructors will know this one. Tiger in the Tree is literally like the image you'll see of a tiger hanging in a tree, and what you're doing is you're supporting your baby across their chest and securely under their legs, and you're placing them over onto your arm. So this is actually a really lovely soothing position, because it actually puts a little bit of pressure on a baby's tummy. They have a lot of windy problems, colicky problems, constipation problems, because their digestive systems are so new and still developing. So this is really nice for that, but it is also tummy time and gives you a free hand when you want to go about doing your thing. And they just want to be near you. They're still getting that sense of where they are in space related to you, because babies don't understand that they're not part of mummy when they're born. It doesn't come until much later actually, when they realise that you're actually completely separate human beings. They can feel your heartbeat, they can feel your breathing, they can hear your voice. They've got all that calming and amazing womb world that we like to call it. Sorry, I just saw a question there and it distracted me. So they're getting all of that, but they're also getting tummy time. Do it both sides. Do it both sides, because then you're making sure that you get both sides of the neck nicely stretched in both directions. So try and do it both ways. Let's just put here. The other one that I wanted to show you is I wanted to talk about baby wearing as well. That's classed as tummy time. Although they're contained against you, they are still getting that opportunity to lift their head up against space, and again you're getting that lovely closeness. That womb to world transition is being really well supported, because they're getting all that lovely snuggles. You're getting to have the comfort of having your baby close, and they're still getting their tummy time as well. So that's really, really great baby wearing. And you can get a lot of I know locally there's like a sling library, so if you didn't know where to go with slings, I'd definitely see if you've got a local library to find out. Just going to have a little look at some of the comments. Sandy, parents don't necessarily know that tummy time can be practiced with different positions, not the typical baby straight on the floor or flat surface. Poor things trying to get their head up. Building it up is key, as you said. Yeah, absolutely, it's building it up. And I can guarantee you, if you start this off slowly but surely, your baby will be more tolerant of tummy time. Both of my children loved tummy time, but I literally did it all the time. And when I say all the time, I mean like in their waking hours. So this is the thing, it always needs to be in their waking hours, supervised hours, because that's when they're getting to learn and move their bodies and getting to learn about how their bodies move. It's the early stages of coordination. It's the early stages of their right and left brain sending messages between the two. So yeah, building it up. Josette says baby wearing is very big in Germany. Brilliant, and so good to hear. And I think we are looking now, at how actually we can go back more to traditional ways of bringing up our children. Obviously in the Western world we do have such busy lives, and we're expected to do this, do that, do this, be here, be there. We do spend a lot of time in cars, we do spend a lot of time, and if you think all this time that babies are spending in car seats, in baby bouncers, if you think in their waking hours, if they're continuously being put into something, when are they getting their time to explore their bodies? When are they getting their time to move their bodies around and discover their hands and discover that they can lift their head up, and to get that actual sense and that actual feeling of moving against gravity? You're really, we're minimising it. And obviously I completely understand that as parents, we have got to do things, we have got to go and do the shopping. I'm completely realistic when it comes to this, but I think if we know how important it is, then we can make sure we're making time for it and building it up. So yeah, going back to some of the positions, one that I really like, and it might be a bit awkward for me showing you actually because I'm sat on a chair, but one I love and I often show my mummies is I have my knees up and I place baby on my knees like this, and I help them put their hands and hold their shoulders. And this is a lovely position because you can sit and have a rest and have a cup of tea and whatever else you want to do. You can also put like a chair in front of you or a small table, and you could put things like a mirror, or I really love using high contrast books and things like that, that you can actually pop in front of baby, and you can talk to them and sing to them. You can rub their back and then get them to enjoy having a bit of that time. But what babies love most of all is you. So if you get a chance to, as they get bigger and they're able to enjoy tummy time a bit more, you can, excuse me while I disappear, use a rolled up blanket and you just pop it under their arms. It's a bit tricky for me to show you because I couldn't set the camera up in order for me to show you the floor, but basically you want to prop them under their arms and around, and sort of do like a U shape, an upside down U shape around them to support them. If a blanket isn't any good, you can get some really good tummy time cushions. And I have got a blog about it was a Christmas one, gifts for Christmas ideas for babies, and on there is some tummy time links to tummy time things, tummy time pillows and things like that. So if anybody's interested, I could put the link in when I finish this live. But basically, they're really good because babies are lifted up against the floor, so you're giving them a little bit of a halfway house, so you're not straight away on the floor, but get down on the floor of your baby, engage their senses, look them in the eye, sing to them. They love nothing more than hearing your voice, getting that eye-to-eye contact, singing, having that that interaction is so fantastic for early language skills, their social development, their emotional development, because babies' brains actually grow and develop by connection. Like, as humans, that is what we need. So if they feel connected and confident and loved, they will feel more confident in their abilities, and they will be more likely to go off and explore. Maybe not at this young age, but as they get bigger and start developing through the stages, into crawling and things like that, then they're going to be going off and doing much more just from those, having that love and connection as well. So physically, there's benefits. Emotionally, there's benefits. Socially, there's benefits. Language-wise, there's benefits. There's so much that benefit. And being down on the ground, babies get to explore everything. Another one I want to talk to you about is not strictly tummy time, but if you're really, really finding that your baby's you're doing all these things and they're just not liking it, try side lying. So that's literally getting baby to lay on their side. Now this is a nice position for them to be able to bring their hands together at midline. They're not having to, so on their back, they're having to work quite hard to come up against gravity to bring their hands together, but in side lying, they're already halfway there, so they can explore their hands. It's a different position to being on their back, but it is giving them an opportunity to be off the back of their head. Do both sides. Get down on the ground, lay next to your baby, enjoy this time, enjoy just being with them. You just doing that is play for a baby. And I'm really, really big on baby play, like it's my passion. But actually baby play is really simple. You don't need fancy toys. You are everything your baby needs to learn and grow and develop. So talking to them, just talk about the day, talk about what's in the room, talk about anything, it doesn't matter, just do it with love and excitement, and they will love it and enjoy it. So yeah, in side lying is a fantastic position if they're really not enjoying it. Still try and keep going with tummy time, but that's a really nice one. And if your baby does love tummy time, eventually enjoys tummy time, try side lying as well. This is an often forgotten position, and it actually is a really good starting position for rolling, because again, it's a halfway between the two positions of being on the front and the back. I'm just going to check again some of the messages. Great idea on the knees. Yes, Sandy, I love that one. That's one of my favourite ones. I call it my seated aeroplane. I don't know what else to call it, but I kind of think it's like a little bit of an aeroplane position, but on your knees. Playing tummy time is a great idea. The floor is the best playground. Absolutely. Yes, get down on the floor with them. So many benefits, as you say, all those lovely mirror neurons being activated. Absolutely. The U-shaped towel is great. I used to work on a neonatal cardiac ward, and it was a steady way to build up babies being placed on their tummies post-surgery. Lovely. Yeah, absolutely. And it's these simple things, like you just need a blanket and yourself, and you are giving your baby everything they need. Rebecca, love it. Such an important message to get across, that we are all they need. Yeah, we literally are all they need. Don't, fancy toys are fantastic. There's a lot out there. There's fantastic classes out there. But actually you are enough. You are enough. Kirsty, my baby is 8 days old. Should I be doing tummy time now? Yes, absolutely, Kirsty. really basic tummy time, so that will be tummy time on your chest. I don't know if you've been here throughout the video, but I've talked about just tummy time on the chest is really, really lovely. Another one is across your knees. So let me just scoot back a little bit so you can maybe see. So this one we call in baby yoga Indian bouncing. So obviously if baby's got not very good head control, it would advise you to just support their head slightly, and also make sure that their airway isn't obstructed. But this is a lovely one for tummy time where they're still on you, and you can we do a little bit of a knee bounce, and this is a lovely settling technique as well. But that's tummy time as well. So there's lots and lots of ways to get tummy time in into your baby's day. Let me just check if there's any more messages, any more questions. Can't see anything more coming up. So I want to talk about baby containers. I touched on it before, what I call baby containers. So try and minimise when you're putting things you're putting your baby in. So car seats, obviously we need baby bouncers, baby walkers. I don't mean the seated baby bouncers, I mean the ones where babies are hanging. That isn't great for babies' hips. So if you imagine that your baby is hanging from something, that's something just wedged between their legs basically, and their legs are dangling, that's not great positioning for their hips, and they tend to go up on tiptoes in that position. They love it because it's a lovely movement based sensation, but actually it's not great because babies weight bear through their legs, and their bones ossify through weight bearing. So that means their bones strengthen and harden through weight bearing. So I always like to add in when I'm talking about tummy time that, to be aware of development and movement across the board. If you're going to use these things, I'd say limit it to an absolute maximum of 15 to 20 minutes a day, and no more than 5 minutes at a time, because I am realistic. I do understand that parents do enjoy these things, do need to get, quickly do some washing up and those sorts of things. So if you make the choice that you would like to use it and you are the parent, then I'd just say minimise it. Because they're not great for babies' hips, and they're preventing your baby time to be down on the floor, learning about their bodies, learning that, hey, I've got a hand, hey, my arm moves, oh, look, I can kick my legs, oh, I can actually bring my hands together, I can touch my mouth. Like, it's so much learning that they're actually being deprived of when they're put in those things. I've got a question here, Jessica. Are there any areas you should be careful of putting pressure on while doing tummy time positions? Sorry if you already said this, I've been hanging out the washing while watching. So putting pressure on, not really. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what you mean there, like whether it's pressure or, like, you want to have them on a nice, if it's on you, then obviously you're nice and cushioned and comfy. But if it's on the floor, which is always advised, by the way, if you've got a mobile baby, so a baby who's rolling, and always watch out, because babies do just suddenly roll, so never leave them on a surface, on a raised surface. But no, you shouldn't be worried about pressure. Some babies, another little tip for you actually, is placing your hand on their bottom when they're in tummy time, and that just gives them a little bit of what's called proprioceptive feedback. So that's telling their brain where their body is in space and being able to judge their movements and pressure that they use. If you put a little hand on it, it acts like a little what's the word, a compass again, I guess, for helping them to locate where their bodies are. So by giving them that little bit of pressure on their bottoms, you can actually help them to settle in that position. So that's a really good tip. Obviously you don't want to press too hard, but just enough for them to feel safe, and you can quite easily do that whilst you're looking at them and have your hand on them. See if there's any more questions. I realise it's gone 9:30 already. I've literally been talking for ages. Has anybody got any other questions about tummy time? Is there anything that you'd like me to cover again, or something I've said that doesn't make sense? Let me know. Let me just check I haven't missed anything. I get on my soapbox about this, and then I get so excited about talking about it that I actually then sometimes forget some of the things I wanted to say. Let's have a look. Getting lots of likes and things. There's a little delay on lives, like people type things and it takes a little while for it to come through. Gail's giving me lots of likes there. Anybody? I'm hoping to do more on my Bud and Bloom Baby page about child development, and Rebecca, reflux could be something to consider with tummy. Sometimes just can make it more uncomfortable. I always used to leave it a bit longer after feed. What was your experience, Carly? Oh yeah, definitely, Rebecca, reflux. And I can't believe I didn't mention this sooner, because my first baby had horrendous reflux. So yeah, reflux can feel quite like with a baby with reflux. So that's where babies, there's a little valve that in their esophagus that's not quite closing. One of the reasons that they believe that reflux, there's many reasons, but basically a lot of it they say is immature digestive system, so they bring up their feeds. It can also be linked to milk protein allergies and all sorts of things. So I definitely advise after a feed to leave it at least 30 minutes, and if you've got a refluxy baby, at least 40 minutes. Which does leave a really small window, doesn't it, for some babies, because you literally feel like you're getting them, feeding them, changing them, and then they're sleeping. So you have got to really choose your time wisely, and always respond to your baby's cues. So if they're just not happy, it's much better that you stop, because we don't want them to be feeling completely overwhelmed and not responded to. So, look out for your cues for your baby, that they are relaxed limbs, they're giving eye contact, they're cooing, they're looking around, they seem to be happy. And if they're not, then, you know that it's not right. My little girl, I used to prop her up on a pillow as well, like to give her more of an upright position, and she used to really like that. But you do have to sort of play around with your baby and see what they feel, or you feel that is working for them. But certainly I still was able to do tummy time with my little girl who had quite severe reflux. Gemma, tummy time has been really good for my windy baby too, as it makes him burp. Yeah, that change of position, because baby's postural control is still developing, they're still in that real flex position. By being on their tummy, you're actually helping to open everything up and help to expel wind. So yeah, really good for that as well. Gail, looking forward to you talking to us in the nurture group. I have some questions for you. Brilliant. So yeah, it's if there's not any more questions, I'm going to go. Do continue to write any questions in the comments, and I will endeavour to answer those. Carry on following the Blossom and Berry Nurture University. You're going to learn so much information. It's going to be amazing. And I just want to say thank you for listening. I hope it was useful. I hope it was interesting. Any feedback will be welcomed. And enjoy your baby, and enjoy playing with them, and enjoy cuddling them and connecting with them. It's amazing. They get big quickly. Anyway, I'm going to go because I'm well over my time now. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.